Today's topic is something pretty heavy. It's called victim mentality. There's a lot of people out in this world walking around with victim mentality, and the sad thing is that unless you recognize that you're in it, you're not going to get out of it. So, how do we recognize if we are a victim, if we are walking around in victim mentality? Now, I just need to clarify that yes, we are often victims of a situation, but whether we choose to remain in that victim space either makes us a survivor or it becomes a victim mentality. So at some point after a trauma, for example, where you were the victim, you have the choice whether you're going to step out of that victim situation and you are no longer the victim. So how do we recognize whether we are in a victim mentality? Firstly, everything in life you see is probably going to be a bit negative to you. If there are things in a field, you will notice the one negative thing. You would not even notice all the beautiful things that's surrounding it. So you have got a very negative tone to life. A second thing that you can say is you're basically asking yourself why quite a lot. Why is this happening to me? Why me? Why has Mary, for example, have this wonderful life and I have to suffer? So why is a question you're going to be asking yourself quite a lot. Then the third thing, you don't think very highly of yourself. In fact, you are probably negative towards yourself, the way that you see the world. That negative tone could be, inwardly focused as well. So you really don't have much regard for yourself. Then the fourth thing, you mull over things. It's like a recording in your mind that just goes around and around like a tumble dryer. It just keeps spinning the same stuff over and over and over. And you struggle to get out of that mulling of just a scenario or a situation. It just keeps going around and around and it just ends up going nowhere. The fifth thing you can ask yourself is anger always my first response to most things? So are you even angry if good comes to someone else? For example, if someone comes and shares, hey, I just got a new car, your instant reaction, your instant emotion is you're almost getting angry at the fact that they getting this amazing thing, and you go back to the why me? Why am I not getting this? And it starts going to that, the number 4 would keep mulling it over and over and over. So those are 5 ways that you can immediately recognize whether you are in a victim mentality. Now, your choice whether you stay in that victim mentality, that is where your power is. If you choose not to stay there, you don't have to stay there. That is the most amazing thing. So how do we get out of the victim mentality? What are some basic things that we can do? Okay, so you've taken the first step, the big major step. You've recognized that you are in a victim mentality. So how do I get out of that victim mentality? How do I change a thought pattern that I have had maybe for years? And this is a tougher one. This is a constant awareness that you need to live in. You have to consciously say to yourself and be aware of the fact every time you go into that victim space, when you start mulling the things over in your head all the time, when you start noticing the negative. So the first thing you can do is set small goals for yourself. These are attainable goals, not goals that would be unaccomplishable, because that would just set you back into the victim space. Poor me, I can't get anything done. And you start doing that whole thing about, how bad I am. So set small goals, attainable goals, and these goals you can set bigger. As you reach those goals, set yourself bigger and bigger goals. That will immediately change your perspective. It will change your focus into reaching goals rather than living in the past. Living in the past, let's just jump straight to that as a number 2. How does that affect? The problem is that you've probably the victim of something in the past, and there's some closure that needs to happen. Sometimes it's difficult to get the closure, but self-forgiveness is probably the biggest form of closure. Forgiving yourself for what might have happened in the past. We tend to blame ourselves. If we're in the victim mentality, we tend to blame ourselves. It's my fault. I shouldn't have been there. I shouldn't have done this. You need to get closure by forgiving yourself, closing on those past hurts. And this is where you might need some help someone who are willing to help you, that might know you a little bit better, seeing certain patterns in your life that you keep repeating to help you snap out of that cycle. It's so important that you don't keep hitting your head on the same concrete wall all the time. There's just no point. So reach out to someone. We'll be putting our email address. Please reach out to me. I'm more than willing to help and see how we can get you out of that rut. So getting closure on your past hurts is a very big key thing. The third thing you can do is give to others. Give your time to others. Focus away from yourself. We get very self-absorbed when we're in a victim mentality. You almost become very needy. You are, everything needs to be revolving around you. But once you change your focus and you shift your focus intentionally to others and helping others, you shift out of that mindset, out of that cycle, out of that pattern. Another way you can do, a little thing you can do to get out of this mentality is make a gratitude list. People who live in a victim mentality are pretty ungrateful people because they're always focusing on the negative. They don't even notice the great, amazing things in their lives. They don't appreciate the most amazing things in their lives. So if you make a gratitude list, you consciously, once again, shifting your focus to what you have to be grateful for and not what that one have and I don't. So it shifts you into the positive rather than remaining in the negative. Being in a victim mentality, you're in a negative space. It's as simple as that. That's the bottom line. You need to shift from negative to positive. So make that gratitude list. And if you need to remind yourself every day, go read through that list. Make the routine, wake up in the morning and write 2 or 3 things, add that to your list that you should be grateful for. And those could be really silly, simple things to you, but it could be something major to other people, things that we take for granted. I have food, I have a roof over my head, I have a bed to sleep in. Start focusing on the small things, the same as you do your small goals. The fifth thing is taking ownership of your own decisions. And this is almost borderline taking extreme responsibility. If you have made a bad decision, take ownership of that. That was my fault. I should not have done that. And you shift straight into the forgiveness part. I forgive myself. I made a mistake. I'm learning from it. I'm not doing this again. So moving yourself into a positive mindset from a negative mindset, moving yourself into a positive mindset from a victim mentality is tough, but it's not impossible. And if you take these small steps, you will reach that goal. And you will start living a life completely different. You will find joy. You will find happiness. You will just absolutely thrive. Where right now you might be in a space where you keep saying to yourself, all I'm doing is trying to survive. Stop trying to survive. Get out of that victim mentality. No one cares. That's the sad reality. No one cares if you're in a victim mentality. People just don't want to even be associated with you. It's like, oh yeah, we don't want to be around him. People don't want to be around negative, I'm so sorry for myself, woe is me, the world's going to collapse on top of me. People want to be around that kind of thing. And you probably don't even want to be around yourself often. So do yourself a favor, take these steps, step out of that victim mentality. If you struggle, if you need to talk, please reach out. The email address will be on this video. And I'm looking forward to hearing from you, and let's see how we can help you shift. Thanks so much for tuning in, and the next time we will have another awesome topic for you guys. Thanks so much.